Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we actually have to talk about Roe v. Wade, or rather the overturning of it, because if Roe v. Wade is overturned, it may actually have some serious data privacy ramifications that virtually no one is talking about. And as I was thinking about this, I went searching for articles. I could find very few that essentially were thinking along the lines that I were. I am not getting political here for the reason I am not adjudicating this, and I will state that again at the end. I don't care what your beliefs are. I'm talking about the data security, data privacy side of this, and here's what's going on. Now, as a backdrop to this, you've probably already heard that a draft of the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade has leaked out, and obviously that definitely counts as a data breach at the Supreme Court level. I'll be talking about that in tomorrow's Breaches of the Week. Now, Chief Justice Roberts has ordered the court's law enforcement wing to investigate, but the possibility of an even deeper privacy breach may be on the horizon if the court strikes down this 49-year-old law. Now, I think this is something that millions are not considering as they are looking at, let's say specifically, the reproductive rights, but there are ramifications beyond that. Now, think about this, and this is actually coming from a recent article in the Daily Dot. This basically was one of the very few articles I could find when I was looking for people that were thinking like me, and so I think it's a really solid article that really aligns with my thoughts on basically this situation. So I'm going to paraphrase the Daily Dot just for a little bit here. Now, here's what's going on, and here's my logic on this. There are a number of women that are using apps to record, manage, and investigate their bodies, and that obviously has skyrocketed in recent years as app adoption is such a huge thing. In the United States alone, about 1 in 5 women between the ages of 18 and 49 are currently using health apps, and that is a market that is expected to basically boom to $50 billion by 2025. Obviously, these are health apps. So these services basically have the ability to illuminate things like fertility, menstruation, and reproduction, as well as give women a sense of ownership over their health. And basically, this is essentially becoming what is known as femtech, meaning technology that is based for women, solely for women, to aid women in this. So apps like Flow, which I've talked about in the past, about a year plus ago, I went back and looked, as well as another one called Clue, those are the two big ones, allow women to track things like their cycles, body temperature, fertility windows, ovulation dates, things like that, even including their mood. You can input your mood into these, so they are collecting an enormous amount of very personal data. But here's the thing, and you know where I'm going with this. Between 2016 and 2019, Flow, or rather the company behind Flow, was actually sending or giving the intimate health data of their users to both Facebook and Google. That's right, they were integrating with Facebook and Google. So as you were putting in your deeply sensitive health information, tracking your body, Flow was giving it to the two largest data miners in the world. In January of 2021, this is what I went back to look at as well, the Federal Trade Commission filed a complaint against Flow, saying that it had reason to believe that it had misled its users about their data practices and took, quote, no action to limit what these companies could do with the users' information, meaning once they were giving out to Google and Facebook, Flow was essentially washing their hands of the situation. The data was gone. They put no restrictions on those data miners. Now, the FTC also said that Flow had allowed third-party companies to use personal health data, quote, expansively, including for advertising as well. Now, in the wake of the leaked draft and the Supreme Court, people online started basically imploring women to delete their health apps, turn off their phone's location services if seeking reproductive health care, things like that. So this really got me thinking, or in general, as I'm thinking along the cybersecurity and privacy line, that's my day job, what happens when Roe v. Wade is struck down and state laws kick in to start banning abortion? Meaning, in many states, Texas has been held up as one of those states that essentially makes having an abortion a crime. Could state prosecutors then subpoena health app data from women on platforms like Flow or Clue if they suspect that the woman had an abortion? Could they then use that as evidence of a crime in general? These are things that we really have to really understand and think about. Now, some state laws would go into effect. That means jail time could actually be served by both the woman that has the abortion as well as the doctor or doctors who performs the procedure. So it seems like it would be in the best interest of state prosecutors to go after apps like Flow or Clue, meaning if they are gathering evidence against what they now consider a possible crime that currently is not, here we are. And I think actually these are really important questions to ask. They are uncomfortable questions to ask. Lord knows, I'm sitting here never able to get pregnant myself, but we have to talk about these things because, again, I'm talking here not about the abortion side of this, but as this law is struck down, the rights and privacy of people, especially women in these states, are now going to be a very difficult thing to talk about. I'm just adjudicating opinion here on this. I'm simply pointing out the ramifications to privacy that could be unforeseen by millions and millions of women, at least here in the United States, when this Supreme Court decision seems like it's going to be overturned. So whatever happens here, I think we're in for a tough summer once the decision is formally announced one way or the other. If the draft is wrong or fake or whatever, and Roe is upheld, obviously you're going to see a lot of people that were very much for removing the right to abortion, macing the pro-life side versus the pro-choice. It's going to be a mess. Again, not adjudicating that, but we have to think through the ramifications society-wide as we are using technology, as we are using these kinds of apps. And so heads up to you, if you are using basically an app like Flow or Clue, this may be something that you want to reconsider, even though it is incredibly helpful for you, for whatever reason why you're tracking it. And I think that's a really important discussion to have and to understand, because if you end up being in a state that essentially makes abortion a crime, that data could potentially be used against you if something happens and they suspect you've had an abortion. So heads up, that's all I want to talk about. Again, the data privacy side, the cybersecurity side of this is deeply concerning. And understand when you're using an app, any app, even outside of Roe v. Wade, odds are you're going to be data mined in some way, shape, or form. Where that data goes, you may not know. How that data can be used against you, you may also not know. And that's what I'm driving at. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, and you know what, before I do my preamble, please don't give me hate. I don't care if you love or hate Roe v. Wade. I'm seriously, honestly, just talking about the data and privacy side of this. And I think those are discussions that we have to have no matter what side of the fence you are on in this debate. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please stay private. Thanks, everyone.